Across many communities, too many girls experience violence and silence. For some, the barriers to justice are not just fear or stigma, but systems that are not designed with young people in mind. In this episode of A Seat at the Table, we speak with Hilda Mensah, a trained lawyer who chose to dedicate her career to child protection and justice. Hi, Hilda.
Hi,
You're welcome.
thank you very much.
Just like I told my audience, you're looking so good.
Thank you, and
And with
so
the
do
Gen
you.
Zs, we would say that you ate your look. You
That's
ate your look.
interesting.
Honestly, I love how you're looking today.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. You look good too.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we would want to know who exactly is lawyer Hilda.
Mensah. Okay. So Hilda Mensah is a lawyer by profession. I'm a child protection specialist
Okay.
responsible for justice for children and birth registration. And as a lawyer, I've been trained to understand the power of the law to protect the most vulnerable, and particularly for girls and adolescents. I've come to realize over time that they are the ones who are least able to access that protection of the law. They rely on adults and the system to speak for them and to act on their behalf.
So that actually inspired you to move into speaking on behalf of children.
Yes,
Okay. Are there some particular moments or cases or experiences you've had that shaped your decision to work and seeking justice for young people and children?
there are many moments that I have felt the need to act to protect children.
Okay. So that's more.
Generally, children deserve to be protected, they have to be safe. And we know that science have proven that when children grow responsibly in a safety environment and have a happy childhood, they have long-term benefits growing into adulthood. And I've also come across instances where I have seen children who have suffered sexual abuse. And that has driven me to work more to protect children. And so my work within the justice sector has primarily been looking at how we can protect children, particularly when they become victims of sexual violence.
I mean, this is like a beautiful and wonderful work that you are doing on behalf of children and adolescents as a whole. So, for people who do not really understand what gender based violence is, what would you tell them? What's your explanation to our viewers?
Gender-based violence is actually harm that we cause children and adolescents by virtue of their gender, whether they are male
Males or
or
females?
female, the harm that we cause them. And this can include sexual violence, emotional violence, economic violence, and social norms that are negative that also impact on them, such as child marriage. And so these are gender violence, and its impact on both girls and boys. But girls are often disproportionately affected because over time, we've seen that sexual violence and gender-based violence is driven by certain societal norms that disproportionately affect girls. And that's why for a very long time, you see that girls are at the end of those kinds of brands. And we need to protect them from suffering sexual violence. Gender-based violence is rooted in culture. It impacts on gender roles. It's about power relationship. And often, girls are more vulnerable than boys. Boys are also vulnerable, but girls are more vulnerable because the basic needs of a girl are substantially different from that of a boy.
Tell us.
And when we don't have what it takes to provide adequately for the girls, they become a bit vulnerable to persons who promise them provision of those basic services or basic needs. Unlike boys, they don't need much in terms of outlook, in terms of dressing, in terms of what they need to keep themselves. Girls need more. And due to challenges within homes and communities, they tend to rely on others other than their families to provide them those basic needs. Yeah. And those are the instances that exposes a girl much more and makes them vulnerable and susceptible to suggestions from men who are likely to have more power and influence than they do. And so they are affected, and which is why you would see that sexual violence impacts more negatively on girls. And let me tell you another one. Sexual violence also impacts on girls because sometimes it causes huge damages to them and their health. So it becomes a public health issue because the more girls are abused, the less they are able to thrive. They don't feel safe. They are the ones who get blamed easily. They are the ones who don't know who to turn to. There are questions of trust and stigma that comes with society, thinking it's your fault. And so there's a lot that goes wrong when a girl is sexually abused, which is why society must begin to focus on preventive measures. We need to even prevent it from happening, not let it happen and then we begin to blame the perpetrators. Perpetrators definitely must be held to account.
Most of the times, it's not even the perpetrators that are blamed. Even the children or the girls are blamed.
The victims.
Yes.
And the survivors are the ones who are blamed, which is why we need to prevent it from happening. But most importantly also, we need to begin to address sexual violence from a survivor-centered approach. You need to appreciate that they have a voice. Mm-hmm. We have to come to the point where they can be heard, where we need to discourage stigma and begin to have a collective conversations and have a collective condemnation of any act of sexual violence against a girl. Of course, against the boy as well.
Yeah.
But because the girls are in the majority, I seem to be speaking for. But we need to have that public condemnation. Communities have to condemn it and not make it silent and swept under the carpet, because that is not helping our girls at all.
Yeah. So in practical terms, how does gender-based violence manifest in the lives of young people in their communities?
So gender-based violence manifests in many ways.
Okay.
It manifests in sexual abuses. Mm-hmm. So why do you have to abuse a young girl who is growing up? And I know that that is the greatest fear of any young girl. The space in which they find themselves may not be protective enough, whether in families, whether at home, whether in school, whether at even trying to get a work. Some young girls try to do internships even as they are schooling. Is that space protective enough? Do we have sufficient rules to protect them? Maybe not. Maybe there are, but are not being enforced adequately. Sexual-based violence also manifests in instances such as child marriage, in also instances where we choose to make opportunities more available to boys than there are to girls. It's a sexual-based violence. Sexual-based violence also manifests in the way that the girls are treated, even at home. It also manifests in the way that institutions put mechanism in place to protect them. It's sexual-based violence. We need to build a system that allows girls to thrive seamlessly through society. If we do not do that, then it's sexual-based violence. Sexual-based violence manifests in the way we condemn survivors of sexual violence itself.
Yeah.
Oh, it's her fault. So what did you go and do there? Why are you wearing the dress you are wearing? It's exposing.
Yeah.
But why are we defining for the girls what they should wear and not defining same for boys? Why do we have to blame a survivor for going to that place. Are there any places in Ghana that are solely the preserve of boys
No.
and men? No.
Once a
So
perpetrator is always a perpetrator.
exactly. So why do we have to always blame the girl? Why did you go there? So the blame doesn't help. It only perpetuates further violence against the girl. And that's why it's important to change the narrative. And so gender roles must be looked at differently. If you take schools, for instance, if you have toilet facilities, for example, you know girls menstruate, boys don't. What kind of facilities can we put in place, for instance, that allows the girl to feel okay and safe at school and comfortable to go to school even when she's menstruating? But the whole conversation about gender-based violence and sexual violence becomes divisions because sometimes the norms that we project, the cultural values that we put forward are often sometimes inimical to girls' rights. And because sometimes the way the media shapes the conversation around gender-based violence and sexual violence, sometimes it's coupled with sensationalism. And so it doesn't make us appreciate the real essence of gender-based and sexual violence. If you are going to discuss sexual violence and you take away the emotions and the sensationalism and make the issues bare and appreciate that it's about the human rights of a girl, and that when you violate those rights, you have actually destroyed the future of that girl. Imagine someone who has been so badly defiled or raped, who has had to go through a surgery, and if not lucky, probably her womb even taken out because of the extent of damage.
Yeah.
And you're having a conversation on the media, and you are making jokes out of that. It's unacceptable. And so these are the things that make divisions. It makes it feel like it's women against men and boys, or vice versa. But that's not it. It's about how do we make a collective effort to protect our young people, because we all deserve to grow in a very safe environment.
Yeah.
And we want to be afforded that opportunity to grow. So the conversations around sexual violence is not just about perpetrators. It's about restoring dignity. It's about restoring safety. It's about availing opportunities for girls to grow and thrive and take up the responsibility of the future in a way that makes us all comfortable. You see, today we have a vice president who is a female. And many of us will look up to her. And many more young girls growing would one day want to be like her. But if you sexually abuse that girl and she drops out of school, or she's unable to go to school as a result of stigma that she's the bad girl, she's the one who goes flirting with boys, you are destroying that potential of her becoming someday a vice president.
There's this common perception that rape is the only crime where survivors are to prove what happened to them, often without witnesses. So why is sexual violence particularly difficult to investigate and prosecute?
Sexual violence is particularly very difficult to investigate and prosecute. One, because it happens without any public witness or without a third party witnessing, say. And that makes it difficult. It's your story against his story. You have to prove it. Sexual violence, it embarrasses the victims first. As we sat here, if anyone in the studio when I walked in decided to fondle my breast, when I step out, I'm the one who feels so embarrassed about it. I look at you and I'm not able to tell you. So sexual violence is very difficult to report. Now we may also, as a country, even within the law enforcement agency, may have limited forensic capacity to prosecute it. Now, if you go to the court even as a victim, or even to the police station, let's start from there, because that's the first point of contact. if I were to report sexual abuse, sometimes just narrating the story may be difficult. It has a lot of trauma. It comes with a lot of trauma. And trauma does not allow you sometimes to present your case in a very thoughtful way. It confuses you when you're traumatized. So you're not even able to narrate your story properly. And which is why you need a lot of psychosocial support. Now, even when you go to court beyond the police, the difficulty for victims and survivors is that often when this happens, you may have been threatened by the perpetrator.
Yeah.
If you tell anyone, I'll kill you.
Often, yeah.
And so she's scared whether to say or not to say. And a lot of times, families force girls to keep quiet. Oh, you can't say that. This man can never touch you. But he has. We're not even listening to our daughters and our girls.
It's a disgrace to the family.
The family feels it's a disgrace to them. But what is more disgraceful than the damage caused to me?
Yeah.
So it's a problem, and that makes it difficult. Sometimes girls also grow in the physical appearance of a girl. Sometimes makes it difficult for you to feel, is she a young girl or she's an adult like me? Is she over 18 years? Some people just have a beautiful physical appearance. Yeah. And so even their age can be in doubt. And so we have the individual, but also the collective responsibility to protect all children. It shouldn't happen to begin with. But importantly, we need to have a conversation about how we as a society must begin to protect our children, whether they are our own or not our own. We have to. We have to begin to listen to survivors. They need to share their experiences. We need to encourage reporting, because that way we have to minimize the occurrences of sexual violence against our children.
Moving forward, when a young girl experiences abuse, what does justice truly mean to her beyond legal conviction?
Beyond legal conviction, what justice means to a girl is the ability to be restored back.
The ability
she
to be
needs
restored back.
Her dignity back. She needs to be able to go to school without anybody pointing fingers at her. She needs dignity. She needs safety. She needs opportunity to thrive. She needs an environment where she feels trusted, she feels welcome, and where she's never blamed, where there are no stigma, where there are reassurances that it wasn't your fault. That is important beyond convicting the person. But that girl, beyond convicting the person, also needs medical care. She needs psychosocial support. She needs peer support, but she also needs empowerment. And she needs to be given assurances of a future that looks brighter. And she needs to be able to be supported in a ways that will help her rise above what had transpired. That is the sense of justice we should give a young girl beyond convincing the accused person.
That's a powerful justice when, it comes on board like that.
And it has to be done.
Yeah.
And everybody has to do that. Families have to accept that their girls are not to be blamed. You see, when a family recognizes that they themselves have failed in their preventive mechanisms, then they have to be blamed. So why won't you accept that girl back and give her the support she needs? Look, the best anyone can have is the support of a family, the support of a community, the support of a system that recognizes that she's been wronged and begins to right the wrong. If we do not do that, then real justice has not been offered the girl.
Many people may not immediately connect their registration to, birth registration. Yes, to child protection. Why is birth registration so critical when it comes to reporting abuse or seeking justice?
So birth registration is the registration of a child when they are born. It gives that child a legal identity. So we are able to know who you are, whom you were born to, where you were born. They have vital information that government needs to plan. Now, when it comes to justice for children, birth registration is fundamental. It is not only an administrative issue, it is a protective mechanism. Who are you? So birth registration allows you to access services such as education, health, travel, your passport, immigration issues. That legal identity is the proof of who you are, what's your ages, where you are going, where you come from. So it's a lot. But when it comes to justice for children, now when I say a child has been defiled by law, immediately means that that child is either 16 years or below. That's defilement. When I say someone has been raped, it's anyone from the age of 17 and above. Now, as I sit here, if for me to be able to tell that you've been defiled or raped, it's your age. If you're 16 years and below, that's defilement. And the law frowns on that. And the punishment that goes with defilement are there. But I must determine that it's indeed violated a 16-year-old girl or a 13-year-old girl or a 10-year-old girl. There are sometimes boys, when they are growing so masculine, they are huge, but they may only be 16. If it's in conflict with the law, I should be able to treat him as a child if I'm convinced he's indeed a child. And how do I prove that? It's age determination. So birth registration is key. It's not something that we can gloss over. It's extremely very important, beyond it just being an administrative data. It helps families protect their children. It helps health. If I cannot tell that you are 10 years, how do you put you in class 4? You may be just tall, but I need proof of age. Because proof of age also indicates your developmental stage in life. And so we should be able to place you and give you age-appropriate services. If you cannot determine your age, even you yourself, you've forgotten, oh, I'm 9, I'm 10, I'm 12. What are you? It's age. I've been in court before where a young man was brought to court by a police officer. Then the judge said, no, take him to circuit court or high court. This is a juvenile court. And the police officer said, my lady, I'm coming from the circuit court. They said he's a child. I should bring him here. So they brought him his mother. He said, how old is your son? Oh, me kuno ja me no. Eno fa bibia ko ye. Inti me nkai. I fear wedi. And the boy had apparently been kept in cell for, I think, about 3 months. So he's grown beard. But when he speaks, you know he's a child. His physical appearance doesn't paint him as that, but he is a child. Now we have to ask the mother to go to his school or the church where he was baptized. Just any evidence at all to be able to determine his age. And if they don't find any of those, then they have to use the medical means to determine the age. There's a way they do it. So age determination is always important for education, for health, for services, to prevent abuse, prevent exploitation, prevent trafficking, prevent child marriage. So age determination is extremely very critical, which is why the starting point is for you to get your birth registered and a certificate issued.
We would want to know what exactly you'd want to tell the viewers, especially the girls going through issues of sexual violence and are unable to speak up. What would you tell them?
In the first place, if you're a girl who has suffered sexual violence, I want to assure you that it was not your fault. No one will blame you. It shouldn't have happened to begin with. Someone failed you, and we failed you. But we want to assure you that we will give you a voice. You'll be heard. The system is positioned to protect you. The community would protect you. You have places you can call. You can call on social warfare. You can call on the police. You can call on the cybersecurity authority, because children are also suffering sexual violence that is meted out from online. They are technology facilitated violence that children are suffering.
So, what advice would you give to children or people viewing us now who wants to have a place like you have now to sit at the table with us?
Great. I encourage all children to strive to have a seat at the table. Why? Because they have a voice. We want to hear you. We want to listen to you. But you also importantly have a story to tell us. What do you need when it comes to safety from us? What expectations do you have of us? Take a seat at the table and let's hear you out. Help us protect you better.
It's been a really insightful conversation, a wonderful one, of course, with Hilda Mensah, the UNICEF Ghana's Child Protection Specialist, right here. And we are hoping we catch you next time on this show. Bye.